Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday, January 17th edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Randy Joseph Lilley alongside Brandon Priddy and Colton Yarge. In today's news, we'll tell you about a young man who overstepped his authority as a licensed driver with tragic consequences, and let you know about a soon-to-be-constructed new liquor mart in Brandon's West End. And Brandon will be in with sports. Brandon, I understand the Toronto Raptors almost pulled off a comeback yesterday.
That's right, Randy. Alan Anderson was a huge off the bench, and the Raptors took the game in overtime, only to come up short. I'll have more later on in sports.
Thanks, Brandon. And Colton will be in with weather. Colton, I understand you've got some good news and some bad news for us.
That's right, Randy. The good news is it'll be nice. The bad news is it's only for one day. Currently in Brandon, it's mainly sunny and -21 with no wind, which means no wind chill, which should make all of us happy. I'll have all your weather details coming up later on in the show.
A 17-year-old has been fined $1,000 and will be unable to drive for a year. The teen pled guilty Tuesday to unlawfully acting as a supervising driver without the proper license. The incident in question occurred September 30th when a 15-year-old girl was driving the boy's truck in the RM of South Cyprus while he was in the passenger seat. She later lost control of the vehicle. When police investigated, they found acceleration marks on the gravel road where the truck had fishtailed, hit the ditch, and rolled. Initially, the 4 passengers walked away from the crash, but the 15-year-old girl began complaining of not feeling well and was taken to hospital where she later died of an internal injury. Aboriginal protesters have ended their blockade of a Canadian National Rail line in Manitoba. About 20 protesters were on the track just west of Portage-la Prairie Wednesday morning until around 5 p.m. local time. Terry Nelson, former chief of the Roseau River First Nation, said the protest was intended to get the attention of businesses that depend on CN to move their product on time. He said protesters planned to block the rail line until Saturday. But after Canadian National Railway obtained an injunction against the protesters and police served it, the protesters then left. And in a related story, there's a lot of anger in Morris over editorial comments published in the local newspaper calling Aboriginals corrupt, lazy terrorists. Morris Mirror editor Reed Turcotte and his wife, managing editor Lorraine Ayot Turcotte, say 2 of their children are Métis, so they understand the challenges facing First Nations people. But they say they stand by their assertion that Aboriginals must work to get out of their situation rather than, in their words, sit idle no more. Many Aboriginal people have expressed anger, sadness, and disgust. Morris Mayor Gavin Vanderland says he hopes people will speak out against such ignorance and racism, saying the views in the Mirror don't reflect opinions in the community. The head of Winnipeg's Museums Board is hoping the Winnipeg Jets will give money to the city's museums, which face funding shortfalls. The city's 2013 budget proposes a 10% reduction in funding for city museums and heritage programs, resulting in a total shortfall of about $140,000. The funding cuts may result in staff layoffs, program cuts, and higher admission prices. Bill Dowie of the Museums Board says there wouldn't be an NHL team in the city if it weren't for the vibrancy of the city's museums and art galleries. A team official says they want more information about Dowie's proposal before they comment. Brandon's been a little bit busier than usual these last couple of days, and that is due to the annual agricultural show, Ag Days. Westman Newsline's Dylan Donald went to the Keystone Center to file this report.
The 36th annual Ag Days has returned to the Keystone Center for the 3-day showcase of the new and exciting things the agricultural industry has to offer. This free show allows companies to get their new products to those who are going to be using them, the farmers, as well as special seminars on topics that are affecting agriculture in the upcoming 2013 season. This year's event has brought over 500 exhibitors, and the Ag Days show manager, Jonathan Roskis, says it may be a lot to take in, but in the end, it is all controlled chaos.
As hectic as it may seem within the Keystone Center here during Ag Days, it's a well-coordinated effort that most patrons kind of know where they want to go.
Ag Days draws over 30,000 people to the Keystone Center, with this year already having a spike in attendance. More importantly, Brandon's economy greatly benefits from this as well.
Not just benefits the Keystone Centre, but our whole economy, actually. You see Ag Days has grown as a whole over the years, bringing about 30,000 people through not just our doors, but also the city of Brandon.
With over 500 exhibitors in attendance, ranging from farm equipment to fertilizer and seeds, as well as all the latest technology that is hitting the farms, this creates a unique opportunity for businesses to showcase their products to potential new clients.
A lot of times we'll do some relationship building, and it's, like I said, it's a great way to talk to a lot of our customers.
So much to see, so much to do. Ag Days has a little bit of everything for all farmers, old and new alike. Young farmer Devin Donald says this brings the resources he needs to learn to expand his farm for the future.
Well, as an upcoming farmer, I like to come and find new ways to increase the production of my farm.
The three-day event kicked off Tuesday here at the Keystone Centre and wraps up today. For Westman Newsline with photographer Graham Leachman, I'm Dylan Donald.
Consumers in Brandon will have the opportunity to not only buy their groceries, but also their alcohol all under one roof. The Manitoba Liquor Control Commission has announced that Sobeys on Victoria Avenue West will be only the second grocery store in the province to have a Liquor Mart Express, which will carry over 500 different brands of beer, wine, and spirits. The new 1,000 square foot store within a store is expected to open sometime in the early spring. And with that, let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG TV. Yesterday, U.S. President Barack Obama proposed background checks on all gun sales and bans on military-style assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, as part of a package of steps to reduce gun violence. But in Kentucky, there's a sheriff who says he won't comply with any laws he feels are unconstitutional. Adam Yosem explains. We apologize for the technical difficulties. A Notre Dame football star's inspirational story about the death of his girlfriend may not be true. Manti Te'o now says he was the victim of a sick joke. Ed Payne has the story.
Very elaborate.
Notre Dame star linebacker Manti Te'o excelled on the football field despite dealing with tragedy off the field. Te'o said last September that his grandmother and his girlfriend died within hours of each other, and he would keep playing to honor them. But the girlfriend story was a hoax, according to an article published by the sports website Deadspin.com. Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick says Te'o only spoke to the girlfriend in question online and on the telephone.
This was a very elaborate, very sophisticated hoax, perpetrated for reasons we can't fully understand, but had a certain cruelty at its core.
The story was that Te'o's girlfriend died of leukemia. The football player didn't attend her funeral because he said he promised her he wouldn't miss a game. Deadspin writer Timothy Burke, who broke the story, says some things just don't add up.
We have a lot of stories about how they met. That, she was a student at Stanford and they met after the 2009 football game. And we know that didn't happen.
And there is this.
When Te'o said, "I know that I'll see my girlfriend again someday," we know now that they never saw each other in the first place.
They were with me, so I couldn't do it without them. I couldn't do it without the support of my family and my girlfriend's family. And I miss them. But I know that I'll see them again one day.
In a statement reported by ESPN, Te'o said in part, "To realize that I was the victim of what was apparently someone's sick joke and constant lies was and is painful and humiliating." Te'o was the Heisman Trophy runner-up. and he is expected to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft this spring. I'm Ed Payne reporting.
That's it for news, but stay tuned. Colton's up next with Newsline weather.
Good afternoon with Newsline weather. I'm Colton Yarge. Well, as I mentioned earlier, there's a little bit of good news in the forecast, but only a little bit. More on that in just a moment. Currently in Brandon, it's mainly sunny and -18 with no wind. This evening, we'll see some flurries and a temperature of -18. Winds will be light out of the southeast. Overnight, we will warm up 4 degrees, which is the beginning of the good news. Taking a look at our radar image, as you can see, there's no precipitation threatening Brandon or much of the southern Manitoba. And moving to our satellite image, that heavy cloud cover is still rolling into our region from the Yukon. Moving to our 5-day forecast now, as I promised, some good news. Since tomorrow will be gorgeous, I suggest taking advantage of it fully because starting on Saturday, it'll be nicer than indoors than out. Nothing but cold temperatures all the way until Tuesday. Now let's take a look around the region. Winnipeg is in at -26, Portage la Prairie in at -21. Meanwhile, Dauphin sitting at -18. Neepawa checks in at -20. Carberry -21. Killarney -18. Minnedosa -22. And Verdun will round us out at -16. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of -13 and a low of -24. The record high was set back in 1944 when we hit +3.9. The record low was set a year earlier than the record high in 1943 when we hit -37.2. That just shows how fickle Mother Nature can be. Once again in Brandon, it's mainly sunny and -18. That's it for weather, but stick around. Brandon's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Brandon Pretty. NHL hockey is about to begin again this weekend. So for our question of the day, Westman Newsline asked, how do you feel about NHL lockout coming to an end?
I haven't decided whether I'm going to watch the games yet or not, or even go to any in Winnipeg. So I was looking forward to it in the fall. Now it's just like, oh, whatever. I'd rather go to a Brandon Wheat Kings game now.
I wish it was still on, then I don't have to worry about watching hockey on TV.
My son loves Sidney Crosby, and he'll be looking forward to watching him play again.
I'm glad they've sort of settled their disputes now. I hope they give something back to the fans that they're trying to gouge so badly.
Canada's Miloš Raonic won in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2, 6-3 over Lucas Rassel to reach the third round at the Australian Open. Ottawa's Jesse Levine wasn't as fortunate. He fought for nearly 3 hours before falling the 14th seed, Gail Simon of France, 2-6, 6-3, 7-6, 6-2 in their second round match. Carlos Boozer scored season-high 36 points as the Chicago Bulls withstood the late Toronto rally for a 107-105 overtime win on Wednesday. Boozer, who also pulled down 12 rebounds, been the focal point of Chicago's offense, with point guard Derrick Rose still recovering from knee surgery to repair a torn anterior cruciate ligament. In 21 double-doubles lead in NBA's Eastern Conference, Luol Deng had 19 points and 7 assists for the Bulls, while Cole Keem Noah had a double-double with 16 points and 14 boards. Alan Anderson came off the bench to lead Toronto with 27 points, and the 6'6" guard did most of the damage from beyond the arc, making 4 of 9 three-point attempts. Point guard Kyle Lowry was also effective as a reserve with 26 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. DeMar DeRozan was the Raptors' best starter, scoring 18 points. And Randy, that's all for sports.
Thanks, Brandon. And that's all the time we have for you today. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.